Next, I would like to introduce Adrienne Evans, the Executive Director of United Visions, Idaho.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Boise! Friends, we're facing a moment of profound consequence. The systems we've inherited are being tested, and so are our values. We were promised a government by the people, of the people, and for the people. Not one owned by billionaires, ruled by dynasties, or dictated by corporate greed. We're gathered here today because something has gone terribly wrong in this country. By being here, you are choosing to be something larger than any one person. You're choosing to stand on the right side of history and to build a movement and a future, a shared future worth fighting for. Now is the time to act boldly and together. We know what needs to be done. This is about power, reclaiming it, redistributing it, and building it where it's been denied. And that's exactly what we're doing. So how did we get here? It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't a coup. It was slow and strategic transfer of power. One law, one loophole, one lie at a time. They said government was the problem. Then they gutted it. They told us the rich would lift us up. Instead, they lifted everything else, including prices, rent, and our despair. And both parties helped it happen. Democrats chose Wall Street over workers, and Republicans sold patriotism and delivered deregulation. The media called it progress because billionaires made it good for headlines. Then came Citizens United, when the court said money is speech. Now, unless you're a millionaire, you probably don't feel like you have much of a voice at all. Unless you're a millionaire, your voice barely matters. Corporations became people, and people became statistics. Red states became forgotten states, sacrificed for expedient sakes and electoral victories, while extremists and anti-democratic the far right, doubled down to take over state houses just like the one behind me and all across the country. These are not folks who care about making America great. They are intent on destroying democratic pillars and undermining all of the success generations have fought and died for. They are about keeping us fighting each other and hoping that we'll be too tired, too overwhelmed, and too disillusioned to take our power back. Why? Why? Because they know that when we're united, nothing is more powerful. Our greatest moments and our most triumphant strides have been when regular people see our struggle as shared and rise together to demand better. Nothing is more devastating to their efforts than a people America united. That's why they are working so hard to keep us divided. Authoritarianism thrives on a binary of good versus evil, right versus wrong, and right versus left. But the truth is, folks, we are all a lot more complex than that. When we reduce each other to these sweeping judgments, we close the door on what's possible when we see each other and deepen our understanding for a long time systems have been failing us in all kinds of different ways. We have a lot of work to do to strengthen our democratic institutions to better serve the people. But the authoritarian playbook feeds on outrage, discontent, and offers the anecdote of burn it all down. So let's talk about what burn it all down is starting to look like. We are victims of aggression, but we must not be the aggressors of it. We must remain focused and disciplined by our principles of nonviolent political action and resistance. They are trying to manufacture a crisis to warrant a response, as we witness an ostentatious display of unbridled power and authoritarianism in our streets, in our courts, and in our government. Just as today we gather here, $45 million of our tax dollars are being spent to hold a parade timed to Trump's birthday. Under the guise of a military celebration for a military he disavows at every opportunity as suckers and losers. Meanwhile, our National Guard and military forces are being weaponized against us to silence dissent. ICE is preparing to deploy tactical agents to blue cities to round up and arrest and deport immigrants without cause or crime. They are arresting representatives who stand up to the administration and judges who defy their wishes and side with the Constitution and our laws. They aren't trimming the fat. This administration is trying to destroy the body of our democracy. This administration is not shrinking government. They're sabotaging our public trust. Under DOGE, they have launched an assault on the very institutions that serve and protect the American people. They have bypassed Congress without a vote or debate. They've traded congressional oversights for political favor. They've attacked judges, defied the courts, and simply ignored judicial orders. They've weaponized our courts and ignored rulings they don't like. They've imposed loyalty tests for civil servants. They've fired watchdogs, silenced whistleblowers. Lobbyists write the laws and billionaires write the policies. And it doesn't stop there. Folks, they're coming for our health care, our classrooms, they're undermining science and public safety and health. They're dismantling our public services that protect our elderly, those with disabilities, our veterans, our houseless, and placing our children and our communities at great risk. They're gutting the EPA and environmental safeguards. They're attacking civil society and our nonprofits. They're defunding public media and intimidating the free press. They're raiding our homes, our places of worship, and our workplaces, deporting people without crime or cause. They're stripping of us of our rights and our liberties and jailing those who dare to protest. They're using our armed forces to silence their fellow citizens. These cumulative cuts aren't isolated. They shrink the public safety net and weaken institutions that uphold our democracy. This isn't theory, it's real. These policies dismantle the structures that hold communities and democracy together. And together we must act. To confront this ripple of harm and fight to preserve and rebuild what has been torn apart. This is not reform, folks. This is repression. This is authoritarianism wearing a suit and wielding an executive order. This is what power looks like when it is afraid of accountability. Because they know what we know, that an informed public cannot be controlled, that a healthy democracy will not tolerate a king. That a united people is their biggest threat. So they defund, dismantle, and distract. But we're watching and we will not be silent. That's not democracy, it's autocracy with better branding. But the most dangerous part, folks, is if they convince us to accept it. They give us red versus blue, fear versus distraction, so we don't see who the real enemy is. But today and every day, we will call it what it is, a thiefdom. Not one king, but many. Bezos and Musk in the boardroom, Mike Johnson in the Congress, Alito and Thomas on the bench, Murdoch and Fox News shaping the truth for profit. But their failure is that they underestimated us. Here in Idaho and across the country, we still know what democracy means. It means power flows from the people, not the other way around. We know democracy isn't about kings, it's about us. It's about showing up, staying in the fight, and refusing to be ruled. United Vision for Idaho has been doing this work for decades in places where no one else would go, with people who no one else would listen to. Not with scripts or savior politics, but real conversations about what hurts, what matters, and what is possible. And here's what we've learned. Authoritarianism doesn't start with tanks. It starts with abandonment, with communities being told they don't matter, with people being divided until we forget that we're on the same side. But we know that when we unite across race, place, and yes, folks, party lines, there is nothing more powerful than the power of the people. So we're not just here to protest today. We're here to build, to organize, and to lead. We demand a government that serves, not one that surveils. We demand a democracy where your value isn't tied to your wealth, where your zip code doesn't dictate your rights, where your courts defend liberty, not crush it. Because this isn't just about policy, it's about power. We don't want crowns, we want a voice. And so we act. We take personal accountability and reject the bait and switch to vilify our fellows and cast each other as enemies. We know who the enemy is, and it's not us. We lead with purpose, curiosity, and empathy. We open our hearts and our minds and our doors to the power of our collective actions. We block authoritarian efforts. We bridge relationships and build community. And folks, we build a movement big enough for everyone. We attend school board meetings, city councils, union halls. We show up not just to vote, but to build power between elections. We fund frontline communities, We back truth-telling media, not corporate propaganda. We support local candidates and not dynasties. We support civil societies and nonprofit organizations. We vote with our dollars. We make democracy real by practicing it everywhere, every day. And when they ask us what we want, we tell them, we want democracy, real democracy. Coming! No more kings, no more silence, no more waiting. Now is the time to build the future we deserve together.